Prime Minister of the United Kingdom lives behind one of the most famous black doors in the world. 10 Downing Street has witnessed wars, economic crises, political revolutions, and the rise and fall of empires. It represents continuity. It represents stability. It represents one of the oldest democracies in modern history. Yet something unusual has happened in recent years. Prime ministers have come and gone with astonishing speed. One resignation follows another. One leadership contest replaces the last. One government promises stability. Another government collapses before finishing its agenda. Many people ask the same question. Why can't Britain keep a prime minister? Is this simply political bad luck? Is the system broken? Or is something much deeper happening beneath Westminster? Pause on the famous black door of number 10. The United Kingdom was once known for stable government. Prime ministers often served for many years. Some led Britain through war. Others oversaw decades of economic growth. Political transitions happened, but they usually unfolded gradually. Leadership was expected to last. Today, that expectation has changed. Governments seem increasingly temporary. Political survival appears measured in months rather than years. Each resignation sparks another leadership contest. Each leadership contest promises a fresh start. Yet many of the same problems remain. To understand why, we have to look beyond personalities. The story is larger than any individual prime minister. It begins with how Britain's political system actually works. Unlike presidential systems, British voters do not directly elect a prime minister. Citizens elect members of parliament. The party that commands a majority in parliament forms the government. Its leader becomes prime minister. That arrangement offers flexibility. It also creates vulnerability. A prime minister can lose power without a national election. Support inside parliament matters as much as support across the country. If confidence disappears within the governing party, leadership can change almost overnight. The public may not vote. The government may remain. Only the leader changes. That constitutional design has existed for generations. So why does it appear more unstable today? The answer may lie in politics itself. Political parties have become increasingly divided. Internal disagreements no longer stay behind closed doors. Every policy becomes a test of loyalty. Every vote becomes a potential leadership challenge. Media coverage magnifies every disagreement. Social media accelerates every controversy. Public pressure builds faster than ever before. A single political mistake can dominate headlines for weeks. Confidence erodes rapidly. Leadership becomes fragile. But political pressure alone does not explain everything. Britain has experienced an extraordinary series of national challenges. The global financial crisis reshaped public finances. Years later, Brexit fundamentally changed Britain's relationship with Europe. The pandemic tested every government on Earth. Inflation surged. Energy prices climbed. Interest rates increased. Economic growth slowed. Each crisis demanded difficult decisions. Every difficult decision created political winners and political losers. Prime ministers inherited problems they did not create. Their successors often inherited even more. The result was a cycle of rising expectations and disappointing outcomes. Campaign promises collided with economic reality. Governments discovered that solving one problem often created another. Tax cuts affected borrowing. Higher spending affected inflation. Trade policies affected investment. Immigration affected labor markets. Housing shortages affected affordability. Every decision involved trade-offs. There were no simple solutions. Yet modern politics often rewards simple answers. When those answers fail to deliver immediate results, public frustration grows. Confidence weakens. Calls for new leadership begin again. Some observers believe Britain has entered an age of permanent political campaigning. Every day feels like the next election has already started. Opinion polls become daily scorecards. Leadership approval changes with every news cycle. Short-term popularity sometimes outweighs long-term planning. Policies designed for decades compete against headlines measured in hours. That creates another challenge. Markets do not like uncertainty. Businesses invest when they can predict the future. Investors value stability. Political uncertainty makes forecasting more difficult. When governments change frequently, economic priorities may also change. Fiscal plans evolve. Tax policies shift. Regulatory reforms pause or reverse. Large companies delay investment. International investors become more cautious. The British pound often reflects that uncertainty. Currencies represent confidence as much as mathematics. Exchange rates respond to expectations. If investors believe future policies are unclear, demand for a currency can weaken. Markets rarely wait for certainty. They price uncertainty immediately. This does not mean every leadership change causes financial instability. Britain remains one of the world's largest economies. Its institutions remain strong. Its financial markets remain highly respected. The Bank of England operates independently. The legal system continues to provide predictability. Those institutions often reassure investors even during political turmoil. But confidence has limits. Rapid leadership changes raise questions about consistency. International businesses ask whether today's policy will survive tomorrow. Trading partners wonder which priorities will remain in place. Credit agencies evaluate long-term fiscal discipline. Financial markets monitor every signal. Britain does not exist in isolation. Its economy remains deeply connected to Europe. The European Union remains one of Britain's largest trading partners. Political uncertainty affects trade negotiations, investment decisions, supply chains, financial services. Even after Brexit, the relationship between Britain and Europe continues to shape both economies. When uncertainty rises in London, markets across Europe pay attention. The effects extend even further. London remains one of the world's major financial centers. Banks, insurance companies, investment funds, currency markets, global corporations all operate through the City of London. Political instability therefore becomes an international story. Investors in New York notice. Manufacturers in Germany notice. Exporters in Asia notice. Central banks notice. Confidence moves across borders faster than goods themselves. Some commentators suggest hidden forces control who becomes prime minister. Secret elites. Financial conspiracies. Invisible networks operating behind closed doors. Such claims attract millions of views online. But extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Political systems are often complicated enough without assuming hidden conspiracies. Internal party rules, economic pressures, media scrutiny, public opinion, global events, institutional constraints. Together they can produce instability without requiring secret coordination. Sometimes the simplest explanation is also the most powerful. Modern governments face more simultaneous challenges than ever before. Economic policy, climate policy, defense, technology, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, migration, healthcare, housing. Every issue demands attention. Every issue divides voters differently. Consensus becomes increasingly difficult. Perhaps Britain's revolving door of prime ministers tells us less about Britain alone. Perhaps it reflects a broader challenge facing democracies across the world. Leaders are expected to solve global problems using national governments. Markets move globally. Capital flows globally. Technology spreads globally. Yet elections remain national. Governments inherit forces they cannot fully control. That gap between expectations and reality may explain why leadership changes have become more common, not only in Britain, but across many democracies. The question may no longer be why prime ministers keep changing. The better question may be whether any democratic leader can still deliver long-term stability in an increasingly unpredictable world. The future of Downing Street may ultimately depend less on who walks through its famous black door, and more on whether modern democracy can adapt to a century changing faster than any government can keep up.